Previously on X-Men. That's right, everyone. We're back for another X-Men themed episode of Never Watch Alone, formerly Comtrack. I always want to make sure I get back. It is a Marvel movie of the month with Mark, and I should just get for the jump. Audience, this may be one of your last times with me here for a little while. I've got a lot of projects gearing up that are taking my attention, and I love Tim, and I love this project, but all movies are really long, and it's getting increasingly hard to find 3 hours in my schedule repeatedly. So I'll be back one day. But for now, let me introduce some people here. With me is the genius behind this, Tim.
Hey.
Hello, Tim.
I'm actually kind of surprised that you say you still love me after I torturously made you sit through Fant Four Stick and Howard the Duck. I'm pretty sure, folks, that's exactly the reason why he was absent for March.
That's what I was going to say. And that's absolutely why I was absent. And, I didn't want to talk about the grievances on air because now they're going to think that's also why I'm leaving.
It totally would have been a great thing. Oh, my God. Although, in all fairness, even if it weren't,
it's going to be fun. I can't wait to tell everybody what I'm in that awkward phase of this.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. What'd you say?
No, I was gonna say it's so funny because I'm like, even if you didn't have like all this stuff in the horizon, it would have been so hilarious if that was the reason you were gone, and everyone would have been like, "Oh, of course, that's why."
Yeah, look. I'm like, I don't have 3 hours, and I'm definitely not filling those 3 hours I would find with Howard the friggin' Duck.
Yeah, this is totally the reason why.
But I only said that so I could offend our other co-host today, by the way.
Yes. Hi, Sean. What's up?
I got to give it up for Sean. Sean is back. You'll remember him from other episodes of Never Watch Alone. He also did the previous X-Men episode with us. So I'm excited to yell things at Sean. What's up, Sean?
Excelsior! Let's do this!
Yeah, dude.
If I'm taking over, we're going to do it right, even though this movie had a lack of the great Stan Lee.
Oh, no, dude, it's so weird. This is one of the
R.I.P.
few Marvel movies without a Stan Lee cameo. And it's like, no one asked me to do it. I'm like, where the hell were you, singer? God damn, man.
Yeah, well, again, though, early on hadn't become standard at this point. So, I want to do the typical what we do on Never Watch Alone. What were your guys' first experiences with this movie?
Yeah,
I had an amazing time with this. I think this is an early midnight screening for me.
Oh, shit, son.
Okay.
Those are the good old days,
yeah.
2003.
Yeah,
oh, yeah. Literally, this was definitely a midnight screening for me. And, he brought up 2003. So, I will... I'm a little older here. I will put this in the context of time. So, this 2003 was my sophomore year going into my junior year of college. And what a time to be a nerd in film. That year, Return of the King comes out.
Yeah.
The second two Matrix movies drop. Pirates of the Caribbean drops.
Yep.
Freaking, and then this starting early in the year. So it was just like that whole year was just nothing but like movie delightfulness for us nerds, which I unashamedly is, forever will be. So, seeing this movie as kind of like the kickoff to all that shit coming for that year, you almost forget how good this movie was because you just got bombarded by everything else thereafter.
Oh, yeah, honestly.
I still feel like you can tell how...
No, go ahead, Mark.
Well, I just meant like within that year. Anytime you revisit this, this is basically, I would call the perfect sequel to...
it
100%
really kind of was, yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right. This was one of the first ones, I think, to drop a really solid Easter egg, too. And not even an Easter egg. At this point, it was probably an Easter egg. But it was the Dark Phoenix thing.
Oh, yeah, that's totally true.
Great build-up. Unfortunately, they ended up with piss-poor execution when they got to that.
Yeah, when Brett Ratner took over, man, that was... Look, there are parts of X-Men 3 that I kind of like particularly how they handled the Cure part of that story arc, but holy shit, the Phoenix Saga, I cannot defend, man.
Sure.
Oof. So, But yeah, man, X2, like that, because this is around the time when I was really starting to get into my geekery, in like late middle school and whatnot. Because I'm the baby of the batch, if you haven't noticed. So I actually got the first two X-Men DVDs at the same time, so I actually got the chance to watch them back to back. And that was kind of my first bit, and it wasn't until I think X-Men 3 was the first one that I saw in theaters, which I know both of you and everyone else, all the other X fans that are listening to this are like, oh, you poor soul. But yeah, man, like I only had the DVDs when I was a kid, just to start out with this, and that was like my first major. Outside of the animated series, both the '90s one and Evolution, which was on at the time when I was a kid, those were my main introductions to the X-Men. So it's still really cool, and it really is kind of crazy how much this movie kind of holds up. Like it's been forever since I've watched it. I don't know how long has it been since you guys watched it.
Oh, I mean,
just a few months for me.
I did a refresher.
I randomly did an X-Men rewatch.
Yeah, man. Hey, what was your midnight experience though, Mark? Because I hear those are always a really good time.
Well, Sean and I think, are very close in age.
Yes.
So it was a very good time to be alive. The 2002 to 2005-ish run for nerd culture was kind of amazing.
It really was.
If you really look. And like some things weren't perfect.
No.
But like at the same time, you still got a lot of great things during this era. I think X2 rather is like, I think X2 almost more than some of the other movies really cemented it's like that this was going to be a coming force. Yeah. And I'm willing to bet it bolstered the success of Spider-Man 2, which came the following year.
Yeah,
I think it was like,
yeah,
it was great. I mean, I think it's well made. I think most of it holds up. And my main complaints about these X-Men movies stand: not enough Cyclops, too much Wolverine, too beautiful of a Wolverine.
Yeah.
But Sean made the comment about it being a perfect sequel, and he's right. It really is. It's like it's not the same as the first movie.
No.
It expands the universe, it expands the characters. It does everything you want a great sequel to do.
Totally. I mean,
so when it comes,
what's up?
No, I was saying, when it comes to midnight showings, location is kind of key. So the benefit of this time period for me being in college and where my college was located, so you have the college kids going to this theater because it's the closest theater, so we're all going to it. But it's also, in an affluent area, suburbs of the city I was living in at the time, which was Dayton, by a mall. So it's like, you're not only having this awesome group of college kids, like, this is where the people who have money and the early cosplayers are coming out and doing stuff.
Yeah.
So, you have that. Yeah, you have like that whole level of fandom going on. It's like, I mean, literally every midnight movie I went to in college, there's someone dressed up.
Oh,
so it was just a blast every time.
That's how I actually remember going to the midnight premiere of the Avengers in, I think it was my second year of college, and I dressed up as World War II Captain America. Granted, there were a couple of other cosplayer people there, but they were in shitty Halloween gear, and mine was by far the coolest, and I got a whole bunch of pictures with people. Oh, dude, anytime you go to a midnight movie for a comic book movie, dress your best, because you will get a bunch of Kodak moments. At least until, when
that's
we can
fun, but
go back to theaters,
I mean, I'm always going to dunk on you on this, because my Avengers experience was better.
We'll bring that up when we do the Avengers episode.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, for sure, dude. We'll bring on a guest star to boot. Why not? All right, so you guys ready to get this movie started, man? Because I'm excited to start this movie.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So, folks home, if you're listening, this movie is available on Disney Plus with a subscription. So, if you want to check it out on streaming, it is on Disney Plus because, hey, the mouse owns everything. Lol.
Oh, don't even get me started. The whole Fox buyout. I'm curious for our future.
Oh, tell me about it. Hey, Mark, since this is kind of, sort of, not really your last episode, you want to count this one down?
Yes, I do. And
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
can we pause for one quick second because my TV is freaking out suddenly and just froze
no.
up as soon as I went to click play.
Technical difficulties.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
Womp womp on the air. Womp.
Yeah, right?
See, this is one day. You know, a lot of people, I'm sure, are perceptive. Like, oh, you guys must do this in a studio. We don't. We do this on our desks at our shitty ass offices and low budget kind of shit here.
Yet.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
That's right.
One day we will.
don't
probably
do
will.
it in a studio yet. We're
Not yet.
ambitious.
Yes, we're ambitious, and we're here for the.
All right,
fucking
guys, I got it
passion.
worked out, though.
Yeah, let's do this. Mark, count her down.
The passion of the X-Men. Here we go. All right, everyone. We're going to get that countdown going. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Yeah. 20th Century
Watch
Fox.
the X,
Oh,
baby.
yeah,
Watch
dude.
the X.
The X is I actually love this tradition with the 20th Century Fox logo, man. Good shit. Da-da-da-da. 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 There it is. Love it. Oh. And of course remember the kids, this was the early Marvel logo before it was like, 4 minutes long.
I always love that logo. I think they kept it a long time, which is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of crazy how little it's changed.
I love that they did a riff on Star Trek here briefly, where it's like looks like space and he's doing the captain's log.
It totally is. Like, that's totally Jean-Luc Picard right there, man.
The Next Generation theme would start playing.
And once again,
Day to be thinking.
Once again, Jean-Luc Picard / Professor X is woke as fuck.
Speaking of, I always said that if I was an adult film star, I would go by the name Jean-Luc Dickhard.
Oh my god, okay, so if there's a porno company out listening to these, which I doubt, but that would be amazing
Hire
if they
me.
did.
Well, don't hire me, I don't think.
Just
I don't
hire
know if
you
I
as a
wanna get into
writer.
that line of work this late in the game.
No, seriously, just hire you on as
Yeah.
a writer. Yeah, absolutely. That would totally work.
Yeah. I'll definitely give a little depth to the proceedings, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that'd be fucking great. Oh, shit. Oh, okay.
All right, and now
yeah.
outside of my porn aspirations, this scene fucking rules.
Yes, it
and
does.
The only thing I thought was heavy-handed in my rewatch is when they have him pose like presidents here in a minute.
Oh.
That was funny. When they're like, "Oh, look, Nightcrawler is John F. Kennedy," or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, no, actually, I
But
really
it's
like that
this
image
is
a
such
lot.
a cool scene. Yeah. Dude, what's crazy about how cool this sequence is that this was 2003 and we were not getting interesting action scenes like this, especially not really in nerd culture.
No,
You know what I mean?
So, yeah, apparently they were so detailed on recreating the Resolute desk that it took them 2 months
Oh,
to
Jesus.
actually build that desk like effing perfect.
Damn.
Insane.
Oh,
right?
Here it is.
Like,
yeah, I actually really kind of dig that shot. It's kind of cool. It's a little pretentious, a little stupid, but it's nonetheless really cool. But it's not as cool as the rest of the sequence because
I'm just like, what are the parallels they're trying to draw there, though? Like, that's the question. I'm just like,
the parallels are they keep showing assassinated presidents. Like, they really
Oh, and he's going
focus
to
on
assassinate
Kennedy,
someone.
they focus on Lincoln, he's about to go attempt an assassination. I mean, there's
that's
a
good.
parallel.
Okay, I'll take that.
that makes sense. That's
you,
kinda
Sean.
cool.
Glad you're here.
That's cool. Now, can we kind of maybe I don't know because it's really hard to say, but having seen most of the X-Men films myself, I think this kind of is probably the strongest opening to any X-Men film.
Oh, yeah.
Because hot
I
damn.
love that shot of creepy Nightcrawler there
Yeah.
with like the flower on his face.
Also, can we talk
So,
about
so
how
Blow with
while
Scarface.
these are faithful recreations of the White House hallways, they actually widened them to make it easier to shoot the action.
Well, of course. I mean, that's just how you work with
That's
sets.
really smart.
Yeah. But can we talk
Well, right,
about how
but-
that they absolutely 100% nailed the BAMF sound effect of Nightcrawler's teleportation?
Oh yeah.
Dude, like, that is exactly how I would imagine the BAMF. Because that's how it always was in the comics, man. And when you hear that, it's like, oh, that's fucking cool. Oh, shit. What's gonna happen?
Plot twist.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler. I always wondered about that. Like, what is the black void he became there?
Isn't he? Well, I mean, obviously, it's never really explained in these movies, sadly, which would have been kind of fucking cool. But doesn't he like get teleport? Like, whenever he teleports, he actually teleports to an alternate, like, weird, like, devil landscape dimension. But
Yeah,
he
it looks like a
through
demon dimension.
But he moves through so fast that he doesn't ever know it. Oh, this shit is cool.
Yeah, imperceptibly.
This shit is so fucking
So
cool.
something that I want to note here is that they the director decided to have a little chat with one of the most prolific Nightcrawler writers to ask
Interesting.
if there was anything he knew about the character that like wasn't in the comics or anything. And you know what he told them?
What?
Oh, you know how he has like those, you know, like the 2 digits on his hands and his feet? Yeah, he's got double genitalia.
What?
Hell yeah, double header.
So, yeah,
Whoa.
like, that was just kind of thrown out there. Like, what?
You can tell this movie was in 2003 because Wolverine's wearing bootcut jeans, by the way.
Hey, don't hate on the boot cut. Don't hate on the boot cut.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that was when it really first came into style, and I remember in the theaters being like, motherfucker, that's why Wolverine's too handsome. Wait for this next shot. They like model him up here in one of these shots. He stares at the camera and he's like straight up like Abercrombie Wolverine. It is fucking hysterical to me every time I see it.
Oh, yeah.
And for whatever reason, it was like the one day hair and makeup fucked the hair up a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, there
so
it
it's really
is.
tall.
Yeah. Look at that. That hair is a little weird, isn't it?
Well, what it could be, so I know like some of the later shots in this movie, like when they were having to do the reshoots or you know, certain scenes, he was then working on Van Helsing and he had long hair. So they had to put his wig on over his long hair. So
Yep.
for some shots, that's why it looks substantially bigger.
Yep.
That's funny. Van Helsing?
So by the way, I learned something really interesting about this. This movie arguably may have saved Halle Berry's career.
Oh, really?
I mean, don't get me wrong, her career was going great at this point, but she dropped out of Geely to make this.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That is
So-
a close blow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gobble,
So
gobble.
it's like, ooh, lucky move there, honey.
Oh, God. Oh, that's actually a really cool crossfade.
It is, but at the same time, I mean, I also like the fact that it's like they're cutting from Wolverine to a wolf, and you just hear Neanderthals. It's like, well, you said it.
I guess this just ties into the whole thing where, Wolverine needs to look like a Neanderthal. Okay, so this was 2003.
He is.
So that
See,
kid,
that's totally right.
that kid is probably now like almost in his 30s now. Can you imagine what sex with his girlfriend must be like now? Like, good God, that's got to be. That's,
By that definition, Toad should be the pimp of the mutant world.
Wait, that was supposed to be Toad?
No, but think about Toad and his tongue.
Oh, okay. Now, actually, yeah, that still does add up. Who was that kid though? Because I remember when I was watching this with my dad years ago, and we're like, hey, and my dad's like looking at me because I'm the comic book nerd, and he's like, who is that supposed to be? And I'm like, I have no fucking clue. It's like, is that his only power? Just his like mutant tongue? Is that it? Is that like the extent of his powers?
No,
He's just got a mutant tongue.
No,
dude, of
I
course.
also, I mean, as much as they put a lot of recognizable characters in here, if that's based off one specific one, I have no idea.
Neither do I, man. They had time to put in.
I mean, there are
freaky-
so many mutants throughout the comic book universe that it's like, good luck.
True. It's just I'm like a little disappointed that like we we have screen time for Freaky Tongue Boy, but not Gambit. Like that's kind of lame.
Well, that got cut.
I heard, and like
I mean,
I
filmed-
only have time for
filmed
Freaky
it,
Tongue
but-
Boy.
Look,
That
they give
sounds
you a
so bad,
tease
Mark.
of it, and look, one of the reasons this is such a good sequel is they pick one new character to really focus on. On the hero side being Nightcrawler, and they give you nice cameos and stuff of other ones. Or I guess two technically, because you kind of get Pyro doing a lot here, but everybody else, it's kind of like, we're going to give you cameos. We're going to give you some of them, but, like, we can't fit them all into the story. Like, we don't have a logical way to bring them in. So they give you more, but they do it in a way that actually works for the story, rather than just doing too much, which I think is very important.
Yeah, I love the Colossus sequence, for example, for that very reason, where you're like,
cool.
oh, look, I just saw, like, you saw Colossus, you saw Siren, you get all these, like, quick cameos, and you get that kind of fan service shit that you need, or you want as a fan, right?
Oh,
But
gosh,
you're
I mean,
also...
I was so happy there was Kitty Pryde. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Okay.
I always was confused about this skill with Xavier having the ability to stop time or whatever.
Yeah. Like,
So,
apparently
fun fact,
it
most...
feels... Yeah, go ahead.
Most of the actors they got for these sequences were people who were either practiced in mime or being human statues, so they were used to standing incredibly still.
That's so cool.
Which I'm like,
That's super cool.
Right, like, what a great way to do casting. Like, you're just grabbing people who it's like, oh, you already do this, let's go.
Yeah, for real.
Right.
There he is. Win the chair.
So smart.
Jean-Luc Picard. Yeah.
Engage.
But no, so like before, like they all turned to human statues here. How easy would it have been to just throw Stan Lee somewhere in this crowd? I mean, honestly, how it would have been so easy.
Well, yeah.
They didn't ask him. How dare they? Well, I know the makers of this movie.
And it had not. Well,
and
and again, this is only the third of the modern Marvel movies, really. So it's like, well, it wasn't that established at this point.
Yeah, still, just like, come on.
Oh no, I agree. I would have loved to have seen him in here, but it's one of those things where it's like it hadn't become quite the tradition yet. So it sucks that he wasn't, but it's not such a faux pas as like, oh, you left him out of like this movie that he should have been in because he's been in like the last 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little too much faux, a little too much pa, if you know what I'm saying.
You gotta love that they always give Professor Xavier all the wonderful exposition dialogue, because after all, if you're gonna have anyone really do the exposition, it's gonna be Patrick Stewart. I mean, come on, that's just the logical way to go. I find this highly logical, you guys. Oh, and shit, here he is.
Can we talk about Brian Cox's amazing performance in this movie?
Hannibal Lecter himself,
so amazing.
Man. It's fucking awesome. He's just got one of the creepiest cadences, I think. That's so diabolical and so charming. In a weird way, I can kind of see, like, maybe if there was a Superman movie of the 90s, he would have been an amazing Lex Luthor.
Huh.
I could say, yeah. I mean, he plays the clandestine kind of like authoritative, but with like deep knowledge. Don't cross me, edge guy so damn well. Like, and you know what? I'm glad he has had as substantial a career as he's had.
Oh, totally.
Because that being able to nail that kind of character is rare, and yet it's so necessary in so many different genres and films. So,
yeah.
And he's so good at it. I also think he's done some funny stuff too every so often where I'm like, What a weird play. I think he's just probably super talented.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's totally the case. Plus,
So,
as an actor, Mark, I'm pretty sure you can understand there is nothing that compares to the power of a paycheck.
Also, though, I think this is the first time he got to work with one of his dear friends. He's actually, in real life, good friends with Patrick Stewart.
I honestly did not know that.
That's super cool. I'm not surprised, though. Patrick Stewart just seems fucking awesome.
For real.
And I know he and Ian McKellen are tight.
Oh, yeah.
And I just love the idea that it's just Patrick Stewart and his homies on set of these.
Yeah, for real, man. Oh, dude. Chilling behind the scenes for movies like this must have been amazing.
Can't even imagine.
Oh gosh, we have some talks to be had about behind the scenes stuff when we get to the right scenes. There's some hilarious behind the scenes stuff to talk about for this movie.
I'm excited to learn that.
Little hand. I like that little hand. How her handshake is super like a death grip. She's Lady Deathstrike.
Lady Death Grip, dude.
Oh, shit. We're escalating to war.
The funny thing is the age disparity he's implying when those actors are actually like only a few months apart in age.
Happens all the time in movies. But I just, because my dad was always, I think the first time I popped this in, because we watched the first X-Men together, and he's like, hey, wait a minute, what the hell is this guy doing here? I thought he died in the last movie. And then as soon as Mystique flashes her eyes, he's like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. Because, God, I miss watching movies with my dad. I need to kick back and watch Star Trek Next Generation with him. Because he's a huge Trek fan. And now that I think about it, I think that's 90% of the reason why he watched the X-Men movies. He's like, oh, Jean-Luc Picard's Professor X, I'm in.
What perfect casting, though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, how rude is that handshake? Like, I know the dude can, like, heal and shit, but if that was any other person, he would have, like, permanent frostbite because of that.
But he knows he can heal, so he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, well, it's still painful and still kind of a dick move. Well, not gonna lie, I do really love how in this movie they totally submit to the one. I think the way that Pete Holmes described it was the bitch who can cool my drinks. They actually had that little bit in here. They totally have that bit with Iceman in here.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, Iceman's overall development through the comics has been fantastic. You know, from him going to being a bitch boy to, like, an Omega level mutant who you realize can freeze atoms and stop time. You're like, oh shit. Like,
okay.
Oh, dude, there was, I mean, you know, you mentioned the X-Men comics back in the day. The X-Men cartoon. You know, that time period where, you know, Claremont started, where they were doing, you know, X-Men and Uncanny X-Men at the same time, that run of comics combined with, you know, in both those books for a good, strong years there were just wonderful. Then you had the great cartoon, then leading into these movies. It was just an ideal time to be an X fan.
Yeah, I believe it, man. As long as you want, Professor Gandalf.
Wow.
I'm horrible on this
This
show.
is such a cool set design.
It is, though. Yeah, this is probably one of the coolest sets of the whole show, honestly.
So, actually, you know, prop boy over there, you'll appreciate this.
Yeah.
It wasn't specifically designed off this movie, but because they just bought something that was on the market to use for this movie. But I actually have that glass chess set.
Oh, right on.
Oh, that's so cool.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, let's meet up and let's pretend to be best frenemies and talk about the future and mutant society. Oh shit, they're doing the Weapon X program.
But this is one of the few misses of the movie. His glasses are metal framed. And he's talking to Magneto.
Are you sure?
The
they're
scan
metal?
should have picked it up. That's one of the few misses. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Whatever. I love this dialogue here. Oh my god, that's one of my favorite exchanges between these two.
Oh, yeah.
And like a hardcore badass, he's got to show how hardcore he is. Puts out his own cigar in his hand. It's cool because he can heal.
Personally, I would have liked a Crow reference. Just do it right on his tongue.
That's what he should have done.
That's what I said. I would have preferred that.
I kind of preferred the way they showed Cerebro's effects in the first movie.
Really? I like this one a lot better.
Yeah.
Is that a nerdy thing to say?
I just like the fact that it's kind of like a globe in here, and how you can actually kind of see the lights of the humans and the mutants. Like, I thought that was a really cool idea, and not just like, mist and smoke and shit. Like, I don't know, the first one felt kind of cheap to me. This feels like the logical next step in the evolution, if you will. But I'm curious to know...
I can see that. That's a good point.
Yeah, but I'm curious to know your reasoning why you prefer the original Cerebro, because I find that really interesting.
I think, I kind of like the idea that it felt more magical in a weird way. Like, it's nice that you can see the globe, but in a weird way, it's like, I get that it would be useful, but in the comics, they never really showed you how there was any function. It was just that it worked it just amplified his powers, really.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So this is like the first time I really remember the Cerebro thing being visualized at all. And I love the room design. I love the overall design of everything.
Yeah.
I always just was like, oh, okay, so now it's just red and blue lights, and that's what he does? Like, can he just have a map? I don't know. I know it's like a stupid complaint. But the other one was just like, all right, let's blast through this weird gateway to all these milky silhouette people. And then, I don't know where I was going at the end. I lost my train of thought. But milky silhouette people, really, that's my new band.
Okay, cool, man. Well, put that on your bumper sticker.
Please. Our first album's called Better Cerebro.
Yo, that's actually a pretty good title.
So, one of the fun behind-the-scene things I can kind of mention at any point that involves Wolverine. So, Hugh Jackman's sister visited the set one day, and the makeup team decided to put her in full Wolverine makeup. And apparently she looked very similar to him. So she's walking around there to the point where Brian didn't know she was visiting the set, and he was like, it's like, does Hugh seem off today? Like, he didn't even realize it wasn't him. He just thought he was acting weird.
Oh man, I didn't know they looked that. I didn't know.
That
Hugh
is
Jackman...
incredible. I was hoping you were going to say they'd shoved her in a shot.
No?
Yeah, not that I know of, but, like, enough that her presence on set confused him, and he's like, is she acting odd today? Like...
I had no idea that Hugh Jackman's sister looked so much like a young Clint Eastwood.
Well, I mean, you put that much facial hair on somebody.
That's very fair.
Yeah, everybody will look like young Clint Eastwood.
Just give him a 44 Magnum. Oh shit! Here, okay. So we mentioned a little bit about Easter eggs in these movies and how they wanted to shove a little bit more. Dude, if you pay attention to
so many Easter eggs here,
so much shit. Like, and this is a really great place to shove it. Just like all this shit on the computer, and when she's searching through the files, this shot was cool. how it just transitions.
Oh, this was 100% like the one where we all just, when we got the DVD, like we paused it and we're just looking at it with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah. Or did this come
Too
out on
funny.
VHS?
I'm thinking about how this is. I think so.
Because if it did, that would have been a really bitch and a half to pause.
I'm thinking about how they show so many of those.
Yeah, so many
It
names.
reminds me kind of the scene in Winter Soldier where Jasper Sitwell, it just starts naming off random metas.
Yeah.
And he's like, Stephen Strange.
Bruce
and
Banner.
like, I know we all did the same shit there. Oh, you know.
Or when Hydra is starting to target all these individuals that are against Hydra, and you're like, oh, who is that? Who's that? Who's that? Oh, look, it's that person. It's that person. It's just like, oh, man, that's really fucking cool. Oh, that early CG modeling for Cerebro.
Exactly.
That's so cool. Cerebro 2. Oh, shit. You
So
better copy
unlike the
that.
first movie, it only took 5 hours for her to get into Mystique makeup in this movie instead of 7 to 8.
Oh, yeah, because didn't they, like, CG her eyes?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sure she, although I can imagine by the end of this, she's like, I'm not sitting in that makeup chair anymore. Which I totally understand. I really do.
Yeah, it is a commitment for sure.
Oh man, you gotta love the old days of doing hard copies. She didn't just have I mean, you could argue that she did have a spot for a flash drive to steal all that data, but it would have been nature's pocket, if you will. Although I do like this little bit here where she changes into the janitor, and you can clearly see that he's got the papers inside the trash can.
I'm fairly certain that's Deathstrike's only line of dialogue in the whole movie.
Really? Get out. Is that the
That
only
makes
line?
perfect sense, honestly.
Back to Boston. And here we're gonna have like a Matt Damon.
I love that
cameo,
though.
right?
Nature laughs last. Like great mutant, like X-Men graffiti to throw out there.
Yeah, for real, dude. Although now that we're in Boston, since Mark, he's such a big fan of doing Marvel cameos now, can we have a cameo for Matt Damon?
Who do you guys think will be the next constant cameo in those movies?
I know Ryan Reynolds has expressed, I'm not sure whether or not he was joking or not, but he would like Deadpool to just appear in all the Marvel movies as a cameo.
You know who I would be okay with?
Who's that?
Joe.
Who?
Joe Quesada?
Joe Quesada.
Oh, yeah, man. He'd be kind of cool.
I think he has spent enough time shepherding Marvel and done enough and written for enough different characters that like I'd be all right with that.
I could get into that. I keep thinking it should be a CG character so they can't die in real life.
There you go.
Well, then I'm gonna suggest Howard the Duck.
You motherfucker.
I'd be into that.
You motherfucker. Or you know what? How about
That's how we bring him back
just,
into the public lexicon.
Either that or just like one of the Watchers. Because why not? That would actually kind of, and that would actually kind of carry over from Stan Lee, because Stan Lee was with the Watchers in Guardians 2. That'd be kind of cool.
So interesting. Somebody who auditioned for the role but didn't get it. Who, man, what a weird position that would have been. Neil Patrick Harris wanted to be Nightcrawler.
I would have. I actually
been good.
would have liked that a lot. Not gonna lie.
I mean, he would have been good, but like, I really think that Cummings did a great job here.
Yeah, he did. Although he was really pissed off about the makeup.
That makeup right there.
Yeah.
Well,
for
yeah,
this
10
shit.
hours. He's like, I'm not coming back for this.
Which again, I don't really blame
Do you
him
know
at
who
all.
really?
But I kind of wish we had more Nightcrawler. Man, Nightcrawler is one of my favorites.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I can agree. He is great here. You know what non so much actor person really campaigned hard to be in this movie, who they were just like, no.
Who?
Shaquille O'Neal
What?
really wanted
Oh,
to be
that'd
in
been
this
awesome.
movie.
We do not need any Shaq Fu in this
But
movie.
he has to play the genie.
Oh, actually, you know what? Make him... You know what would be like just a bitch slap of casting? Make Shaq fucking Gambit.
Oh, God, no.
That would be awful.
Can you even imagine?
No, I don't want to
Oh.
imagine. I've already seen Shaq Fu and Kazam. I don't need him in my X-Men movies, especially since after this movie they kind of took a bit of a nosedive. I mean, look, the X-Men movies have been so all over the place, and right here, as you can see, this Wolverine origin not only is rampant in all of them, it got its own movie practically. But they've been so all over the place. But yeah, this kind of was the peak of it for a while.
First Class is kind of like the only other one I really enjoyed after this one.
I really enjoyed Logan and Days of Future Past. Even though it was a lot different, I still really like Days of Future Past a lot. But that's only
I
because
enjoy Days of Future Past. I don't think it's quite as good, and who doesn't love Logan? Let's be real.
Yeah, for real. Logan is a goddamn masterpiece, actually. Oh, I love this little bit here.
I think I'm with Sean on that list.
What about you? That's so fucking
Yeah, I think Days of Future Past is one of those ones where it's like, you can enjoy it and like it, but also accept the fact that it is deeply flawed.
Yes.
It's also not a good. It's just not a good Days of Future Past, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right, but it kind of makes up for it by hijacking the exact same plot as Terminator 2.
One of the biggest tells that movie was made by Suits is that Wolverine, the only member of the team who doesn't age, is the only member who visibly ages, just because they wanted you to be like, it's just like the comic book cover.
But yeah, right there, man, was Iceman doing what he does best, making everyone's drink a little bit better. So dumb. Nice shades, bruh. Why doesn't Cyclops ever have a band on the back in case they wind up falling off?
So even those shades there, they were made by Oakley, just like the sunglasses he wears.
Oh, really?
They just had him do it all.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Cool. Man, I wonder.
I thought that was
I
cool.
think they look awesome.
I wonder if I can find a prop replica of that, but they're just like sunglasses. Like, how cool would that be, actually? I would totally have a pair of those. That'd be really cool. I'll put it on your Christmas list, Mark, if I ever get money.
Only what I read in the papers.
Wow, that's nice of them to give him a paper subscription in this plastic prison. So I'm actually curious, just because you guys are a little bit more into the X lore, if you will, how do you feel about how they kind of combine several different X-Men villains into this hybrid thing of William Stryker in this movie? Because I know in the comics, like, he's totally 100% like an evangelicist.
Well, I don't mind it simply because the story of God Loves, Man Kills is wonderful, but you are never going to have a comic book movie delve into the religious side of things. So I think altering him to make him a military commander is fine. I wasn't so much, adding the role of him being the weapon project progenitor.
Yeah.
I really didn't like that amalgamation, but I think the changes to Stryker in general from God Loves, Man Kills into, rather than a religious leader being a military one, worked just fine.
Yeah. I guess
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think most of the changes are for the, I wouldn't say better because I don't think the character's bad in its original iteration, but I think you make a wonderful point that at this point in Hollywood, we were definitely not making an action movie against a religious past. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah, no, like just not going to happen.
We
I
probably
wonder-
still wouldn't do that.
I don't know, man, because I'm thinking almost like, oh man, could we do that now? Like, because we've come a long way, not just with the X-Men movies, but with the superhero genre in general. You know, I'm actually curious if we could.
I
go
mean,
that
you
route.
could, but you gotta understand, Disney would never take on that controversy because they are 100% about avoiding controversies.
That's probably really true. Yeah, yeah.
All about that bottom line.
the wars begun.
You don't want to alienate people with money.
Acting. I love that little bit there. Just Scott, you should have killed me when you had the chance. Acting. I love it. Get him, Scott. Get him. Use your laser eyes. Oh, you're gonna want to use your laser eyes on her.
So there was actually a much more extensive fight scene shot here between the two of them, where he picked up the plastic billy clubs from the guards and fought her with them.
Aw, we had to cut
Oh,
that.
really?
I thought that would have been really cool to see.
We had to cut that.
Yeah, because it would have
man.
given Cyclops literally anything to do over 3 movies.
Okay, this sequence is probably really fucking amazing because it's also interesting because we didn't have like a lot of home invasion kind of scenarios in these comic book movies. I think the closest we had was maybe Batman Forever, when the Riddler and Two-Face fucking storm Wayne Manor, and as you know, Batman Forever, not a great movie. This movie, on the other hand, does the home invasion shit kind of fucking cool because this is the other really great sequence in this movie. Oh shit, dude. Tranking him left and right. Kitty Pryde! Yeah!
Yup, love it. Love it.
I love how she actually goes through the one dude. Love it, man. That's fucking cool. Oh, hell. What's up? Look out behind you! He says bub. Yeah, man. It's not an X-Men movie until Wolverine gets to say bub.
I always like the detail of them showing the of the claw marks in the fridge.
Oh,
I remember at the
know.
time we were like, "Whoa, that's so sick!"
Right? Because it's finally we get to see a little insight about how Wolverine's powers would actually interact in real life. Oh, that's schnick, man. There it is. Oh, I love that shit, dude.
Apparently, they had that a little more brutal in some of the international cuts that they just had to tone down a little bit because they wanted to keep the PG-13 rating in America.
Oh, the MPAA can suck my adamantium claws.
Yeah, like I know it was like part of the theatrical release in Brazil and some other places. So.
Oh, here it is, Colossal!
Oh,
Fuck
yes.
yeah! Fuck yeah! That's such a cool moment, man.
Boom.
Berserker! Too bad we couldn't have like the blood splattering across the
It's
walls
funny
and
to see
windows.
this. See, this sequence is all pretty well done too for a guy who had never really done action.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for real, man. Like, and plus, I really
Like both, I want to know who the choreographer was for both this sequence and the opening one, because I think both of those were pretty impressive.
Yeah, for real, dude. Especially for the times, man. Because remember, this is all before even Spider-Man 2 and Batman Begins, when we could have like some seriously earnest superhero films. So this was all kind of like a novelty at the time. And these sequences were amazing. I really do love how all these kids are just shit out of luck in their jammies, and Colossal's the one to get them out of there. Sorry, we don't have enough screen time because those colossal
Well, but
effects
that
are
is
super...
completely the right call to make. It's like he
It
is the
is.
one other person he has confidence in. Like, you send him to protect them.
It is, but at the same time, I also feel like everyone in the background, especially like Bryan Singer, like, that colossal CG effect that can get really expensive really fast. So we're just gonna have you take the kids away now. Oh, dude, this shit is fucking brutal. Dude, can you imagine, like, because, like I said, the closest we had... Oh, there's the Dutch tilt. But the closest we've ever had in, like, a superhero movie was maybe Batman Forever with a home invasion sequence. God, can you imagine what a home invasion military sequences would be like in a movie nowadays in a superhero movie? God, that'd be fucking intense. Oh, shit, here we go.
Oh, my gosh. Everybody's got flashlights. I remember this scene here was shown really, really early. I want to say it like, not E3, but like one of the Comic-Cons. And
Right.
that clip was like one of the first things Bryan Singer showed to audiences.
Oh, dude.
It was a super short teaser because, again, it was early internet days. I always think about that shit, too, about how differently movies were marketed.
Yep.
Where it'd be like, yo, here's a clip we just shot. And so they hadn't done the post work, so his claws weren't visible in any of the scenes. So it's just Hugh Jackman driving with his fists out over the balcony, and then he does the flip thing, and there's no claws in it. I mean, it's like funny in hindsight, but still pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah, no, dude, for real. Even without the claws, I'll be like, dude, he looks like fucking Wolverine, man, and he's leaping off a balcony and going berserker on all these fucking, Black Ops dudes. That's fucking cool. And I remember that image of him just jumping over the balcony. Like, there were pictures of that everywhere in magazines when I was a kid when this movie came out.
I was just watching the claws retract a second ago. I think one of the smart things these movies did were effectively to explain the physical end of his claws coming out.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, I always just sort of drew it coming out above his knuckles through those little, if you look at his gloves, he had like the little portholes for them almost.
Yeah.
I love the way they are here where it comes out between his knuckles. It makes so much more sense.
Fun fact, actual wall of ice, 3,500 pounds.
Good.
Damn.
God, that was actual ice? Dude, that is so unnecessary. Because you know how easy it would be to make
right?
how easy it would be to make plastic and resin ice, man. Like, oh, that's so strange to me. Actually, you know what? I think I know the reason why they opted for real ice is because of this bit here, where he takes the grenade and sticks it in and blows it up. So that they actually could blow up a thing of ice, because practically there's nothing. It just won't look right if it's resin. So actually, that's kind of cool. That's pretty neat. Although now I forget what I was gonna say, because there was something about Wolverine's adamantium claws that I wanted to talk about, but I totally forgot. Fuck. I hate it when this shit happens, but whatever.
All right, everyone, the Mazda RX-8 product placement.
With the special X rims made just for the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I also feel like the front of it, too, has like the little, almost like teeth marks in the shape of an X.
Oh, of course. You gotta really love how that camera zooms in on that one random extra. Like, it's like, is that supposed to be... Is that supposed to be someone? No, just a random extra.
I always hated this in sync joke coming up.
Oh, I hated that joke so bad. That's like one of the movies where I'm like, ew.
It felt dated in 2003.
It did, didn't? It totally did. I remember, watching the DVD as a kid, and even popping it on reruns in like 2004, 2006, or whatever. And when that thing came on, where he's like, "Oh God, I don't like uncomfortable silences," and then this shit comes on. See that reaction that Hugh Jackman has is exactly what I felt. Like just You gotta love how that was
just like no.
You gotta love how that X phone was cutting edge technology in 2003, and how we look at it now.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is this? What is this horseshit?
Yeah.
Oh shit. This is actually kind of a cool device where you don't understand the rudimentaries of it, but it's just so cool looking that it becomes like this thing to pick an eye scanning door. Welcome, Professor. Yeah. He's in Cerebro. And now the lights come up real slowly, and the rave music and heavy metal sync comes up, and just
I mean, if the floor down below is flat, that actually would be an amazing way to have a rave. Like a DJ suspended over you.
Oh, dude, with the fucking like Cerebro helmet, that'd actually be fucking kind of cool. Hey, dude, check
and
out
the
Hank McCoy. Yeah,
on the screen.
Oh,
That was probably
shit.
Rebecca Romaine's favorite day of shooting.
Oh yeah, like I don't have to wear
no
fucking
makeup, or normal makeup, I should say.
Yeah, just like the
Right.
minimum amount of makeup necessary. Although I do love the dress that they give her, like how it's supposed to like kind of look like her skin.
I love that shot. I love it. Just like the
Right.
to the, from the glass through the glass table, bottom of the glass, like very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, getting it on in a dirty.
So
dirty
this bathroom
stall.
set was actually a holdover from the first movie.
What? Really?
Really? Oh, from the scene, the deleted Cyclops scene?
Uh huh.
Oh, that makes sense. Actually,
That's awesome.
I don't know why, but I always.
I wish
laugh
that
at
Cyclops
that.
scene existed.
Yeah, I know, dude, but I always laugh at that little bit where she talks about the Velcro. Oh, this is such a cool effect with the dress.
Yup.
Also, can we? That's
All right, injecting shampoo.
Well, he'd be dead. But I do like that's an ingenious way to smuggle in fucking metal to get Magneto out, and it also leads to one of the coolest deaths in this entire franchise. I think. Just fucking Magneto bloodbending. Oh hell. Ugh. So I'm actually curious. This whole the whole mind control thing with the back of their neck, is that ever a thing in the comics? Because I don't remember that ever being in anywhere. Or is that just like a movie bullshit thing?
I think it's just a movie bullshit thing.
Okay.
Yeah, seconding.
Still, though, this story about how Jason drove his mother insane to bore the images out of her head with a power drill. Like, dude, that's fucked up. It's actually kind of scarier hearing it just from Brian Cox and not doing like any kind of flashback stuff. That's not creepy at all.
He's just like whispering things about Wolverine to her there, probably.
Uh-oh, he found Cerebro. And even if it did, he would probably get like these massive psychic seizures that could kill everybody. Oh, wait, because that happened. Okay, this part is like legit one of the creepiest things I've seen.
I looked back at the right time, and it looked like Jason had his hands on Xavier's legs.
Oh, no. We're just going to leave you two to talk together. Although I also really love the sound effect of like the shit that's pumping through his spinal fluid and whatnot. It's like a weird Darth Vader kind of effect where it's just yeah.
So
I like that Bobby's house doesn't really have any lights.
The lighter that Pyro uses was intentionally that was an intentional choice with the shark teeth to reference Singer's love for Jaws.
Oh, okay. You know what?
Interesting.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense because I know he did like a lot of exec producing on House MD with Hugh Laurie, and I would always remember every episode ends with "That's some bad hat, Harry." How does that thing work? I mean, did you see like any buttons or any interface or anything? Like, is it just like an on and off thing?
No idea.
Whatever. Don't you dare look back. Oh, you fucking creeper. Oh, this moment here I actually really fucking love with the Wolverine and the cat.
Yeah, apparently that was frozen iced tea they put on the end of the claws to get the cat to actually lick it.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, you know what that just makes me think of? Fucking made me think of Sabretooth, which is weird because if you looked in when they were at the museum at the beginning of the movie when Professor X kind of froze everyone, there was like a mention of a Sabretooth in the exhibit. And I'm like, wait, why didn't they bring back, oh God, what was his name who played Sabretooth in the last one? Fuck, I'm drawing a blank. Do you guys remember?
I don't remember the name, but I know why they didn't bring him back. Sabretooth and Toad were supposed to be in this initially.
Oh yeah, it was Tyler
But they
Mane.
felt they already had too many characters going on, so they were like, yeah, we're just not going to do that.
The X-Men really
I think it's a smart idea.
Yeah. The X-Men really are
There's a
bred
lot of
for-
shots underneath glass in this movie.
There are actually. Wolverine drinks Miller. It's Miller time. I love this bit here where it's like the cat, and the cat just like, you, love you. Who the hell are you, and why are you drinking my beer?
I love that like Wolverine doesn't say anything. He just keeps staring like, hello?
Also, can someone close that fridge for
I'm
real?
stealing your beer.
Ooh, Professor now. Seriously, can someone close that fridge, please? Like, it's bothering me. Oh, yeah, but this shit here, dude. This is actually kind of an ingenious way to smuggle in metal.
Oh yeah, freaking brilliant.
Scan him again. Scan him again. Scan him again, or you're all doomed. You're all doomed, and you're dead. Nope. You gotta also love how this.
A little too much iron in your blood.
We also gotta love how this this prison has like a plastic curtain, even to be retracted for dramatic purposes. No. Something else that I can feel.
One of my favorite lines in the whole movie.
It's funny when they nail floating effects, like this dude dangling right now is awesome.
Yeah,
But
right?
what's really funny is when Magneto flies in a minute and he's got the awkward arms crossed. It's like the worst flight I've ever seen.
Oh, it's so
And it's funny how,
cool.
like, in a span of like 30 seconds of screen time, the quality changes drastically.
they blew their budget too quick. Also, this is cool how you can see
And
him fall in the reaction.
here comes the line.
They did that special effect. I remember watching the Corridor Digital guys talk about
love
how they
that
did it. I
line.
don't remember the specifics, but how they did that incredible reflection on the ball
Yeah,
was kind of unheard of and a ton of work.
it was. Oh, it's worth it though because it's cool. And dude, the way that it just falls away is so fucking cool. And then this shit here where they create a platform for him. Man, you know, for 2003, that's not bad. That really isn't.
But
Yeah, we're right there. Ah!
and I love him just like gleefully.
So-
Yeah, chewing the scenery.
Yes, something I love about this scene. They had Ian McKellen actually come on to advise because they wanted this to mirror the kind of experience people dealt with, like coming out as gay. So that's what they really wanted to mirror this off of, with him having to discuss being a mutant with his family.
Oh yeah,
So
sure.
they had McKellen actually advise for the scene.
Of course they would have had him do it, man. Because, I mean, the X-Men is really just like one giant big old gay parody, or parallel, rather. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, look, like so many of the characters and the comics that Stan Lee created were created directly for social commentary. Like, this stuff's messed up and we need to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it in a way that you can accept.
mm-hmm. I love how the cat immediately goes straight for the tea.
Which I think also probably explains why it was frozen iced tea on the claws
Yep.
to get it to lick it.
That's such a dick thing to say out loud, though. Pyro, though, is probably the biggest dick in this movie.
Man, fuck Ronnie.
Right?
Right, dude. Come
Also,
Stitches
I like
get
that they're watching a
stitches.
live stream of news on a computer, not a
Oh.
television.
My God.
So
right?
really, if anything, they just made this movie future-proofed.
They totally did. Oh my God. Because, yeah, man, this was long before even fucking YouTube was a thing, man. YouTube wasn't.
Yeah,
didn't exist till,
nobody
like-
was doing that in 03.
Nope. They're just like, yeah, here's a screen prop. We'll just put some green over it and add it in post. Fix it in post. Oh, well.
Oh, gosh. Oh, that worst adage of film. Fix it in post. No.
No, for real. Like, you do it in post. You do not fix it in post. And there's such a bitch to put on before a take. Oh my God, I will never do another one of these damn movies. I mean, hell, just even like the makeup for his hands, you know, to get that where it looks like he's always doing the Vulcan salute. Although, interesting fact, I think I remember reading. This is a Nick magazine. Like, this is how long ago this was when I was reading Nick magazine. and I think there was an interview with a couple of the cast members, and Alan Cummings remembered how much, reminisced how much he hated doing the makeup for this. Although he had a really interesting story because the fake nails that he wore on his hands, one of them followed him home after a shoot, and his dog ate the fake nail and then crapped it out later.
Oh gosh. Oh.
Oh man, isn't like Hollywood makeup just fucking wild? You know, one day I'm gonna I can't, you know, Mark, I really can't wait when your acting career really takes off and you become big and you get to like either suit up in a mocap suit or be, you know, subjected to 5 hours of makeup. Like, it's gonna be amazing.
I am only gonna wear mocap suits for the rest of my life.
Well, they are snug, and
That way everyone's always prepared. There's no fucking around with that. I'm like, look, here's my wardrobe. It's the most comfortable mocap suit I own.
Oh shit, man! No, seriously, I honestly can't wait for that time. Hopefully, maybe I'll actually be working on that movie with you. Like that'd be kind of fucking cool, or whatever project it may be. So they finally figure out how to work that thing. Okay. Oh shit! I do like that shot where he stops and you can see in the reflection the cops moving in. I can't. Oh, this is another really great little bit here where he's like, "Put the knives down, sir." I can't. God damn. Pump the hate brakes on the
I always
mutants,
thought this is
man.
a clever little action scene.
Dude, he just dropped him. For the love of God, like, is this what they... You know what? In 2003, this sounds kind of right for... if you see a mutant on the streets, cops, fucking drop them immediately because they'll kill you. Although, Pyro here is not making a good case for this. Yeah, he even fucking says it out loud. He's like, I'm the worst one of all of them out there. You really want fear? Here, take fear.
I think it's funny that they like shot Wolverine instantly without doing anything, but a kid with a giant fireball, they didn't do anything.
I know, right?
Well, it was that one guy though, and he was the first one he took out. So he took out the trigger happy guy first.
That's a good point.
Although, let's be honest, if Wolverine was black, yeah, he wouldn't even asked. He would have just dropped him, probably. Oh, it's so awful. It's so awful.
It's sad because it's true.
Oh, I fucking hate it here in America. For any foreign listeners, please adopt me. Please. Oh, and hey, check it out. Rogue gets to actually do something cool with her powers in this movie. All right, this is the shot I thought was really cool, where it just kind of flaps off, and he wakes up. But it's really not that part. It's the part where he walks off the porch, and the cop looks at him. He's like, "Motherfucker, I shot you in the face! I shot you in the head, man! How?
That reminds me of that thing from Highlander. You know, in German, but I shot you. Whatever you say, you're the master race.
Oh, man. Well, that's what Magneto starts preaching in the next one. We are the cure. But right here, where he's like, they just make eye contact, like, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? Not gonna lie, though, that whole, like, exchange between the parents and how they're like, can't you try not being a mutant? Like, can you just, like, not? We don't. That is so fucking accurate for a lot of people coming out, you know? Oh, they dropped the Munich Circus, man. That's some good Easter egg shit.
I love Easter eggs.
So, Mark...
Also love the way the light works in this scene, as dumb as that sounds.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Professor X is standing. He's so happy he's standing. I've got my legs. New legs, Lieutenant Dane. Oh, it's not real. So, Mark, I'm actually really curious. Who's your, because as you know, like, the roster constantly changes throughout these movies, but who would you say is, like, the MVP of this actual movie?
Of X2?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, honestly, I would almost tie it, but I think the MVP and the action in this is probably the cinematographer. But no. I think Nightcrawler is going to win. I think it's going to be Nightcrawler and maybe Lady Deathstrike. You know, I think the opening scene is so good that it's almost from a different movie. Not that this movie's bad, but it's just, that opening sequence is just perfect in pacing. It's shot well. Everything about it is like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, you're kind of
yeah,
right.
I mean, I kind of have to agree. Like, there's, we'd already had a lot of Wolverine action in the first movie, and while it's enjoyable here, it doesn't really do anything new with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Like, it was cool to see him run around and...
Also, I think you have to give an honorable mention to Mystique when she gets to go off.
Oh, that's very true.
Oh,
yeah.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, in the dam sequence. That was cool. Man, this movie was so influential, it like changed some of the games that came out after the fact. And they brought a lot of the cast members from this to reprise their voices in the X-Men Legends series. I remember the second one was you pretty much open the game in a level similar to the end of this movie, where you team up as the Brotherhood with the X-Men.
That's fucking awesome. I actually really love this sequence. Because I remember this used to be... They played this sequence in the trailers a lot.
Nightcrawler's save scene here is so badass, and one of those cool little... It's honestly, it's one of those moments that the Marvel MCU filmmakers get right all the time. Like, there's a little quick, barely a moment where you're like, oh, shit, that was like a quick flex for him. And it's just such a cool and kind of cute almost scene, even though it's like, Rogue's about to die.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Anna Paquin did the stunts herself.
Oh, when she goes out.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's neat.
I feel like you can tell, too, now that I think about it.
Hey, check it out. It's the previews for Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, seriously.
Seriously, though, this is, like, really fucking cool.
Someone really liked Twister.
Yeah, for real. John DeBont
They had so many more action scenes in this than the first.
I know, right? Maybe they did bring in John DeBont for this, but for back when doing, like, a guest director from the makers of Twister. Although, one thing that I always question about this is, like, they're getting cover from all these military planes and whatnot. What about all the people on the ground that are being just obliterated by Twisters? Like, what about them,
Good call.
I'm more concerned about, like, you think bailing out into a tornado is what's going to save you, pilot?
No.
That's a great point.
None of this makes sense, but who cares, because this part right here is, like, as Mark said, fucking awesome, because we get to see some power gauging. Oh yeah, here we go. Jean Grey gonna try to stop it.
Oh, Famke.
Yeah. Woo, that's one. Come on. Pull out your Phoenix, man.
Get it together,
I think
woman.
it's funny that they're just like... They just kind of wait around. They're like, are you going to do anything, Jean? And then she doesn't.
Woo! There she goes. Oh, this is so cool. We're just... Nightcrawler. Bamf! Where's the Bamf? There it is. Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. when you get to have
and then they just hug on the floor while the ship goes down.
But I love when superhero movies, they get creative with their superpowers, how they play off one another, or how they're combined in a clever way to defeat a particular villain or problem. That's when superhero filmmaking really gets to shine.
A situation like this, though, how bad would that suck if they actually crashed, with Logan just sitting there knowing, like, oh, great, I get to watch them all die and I'm going to live.
You know, it should have been right then and there when the hull repaired itself. It's like, oh, it's Magneto. But no, right here, you had to catch him.
You only notice on the rewatches.
I like that fun little tongue-in-cheek line because it's like so many of the X-Men who can fly in the comics are not flying in the movies. It's just like, it's a little, insidery joke.
It is a little bit disappointing to see Rogue without the really hot, cute Southern accent and the ability to fly and the super strength. Like, she literally gets she's just left with the worst part of her powers in these movies, isn't she?
I feel like it's more narratively interesting in certain regards. Yeah, I feel like if you had fully superpowered Rogue from the jump, it would have been kind of like, what's she even got to worry about? She's sad.
That's very
punch
true,
a wall. You can punch any wall.
You got a point there, Shug. But no, you're totally right. Because later on, because again, Rogue is weirdly the best part of X-Men 3. Because she's dealing with this, do I get the cure or not? You know?
This is a scene I feel like wouldn't make it into modern movies almost.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of a weird setting that, hey, let's have a campfire, sing Kumbaya together while we dump exposition in the movie.
Exactly.
So is there like a tent that Magneto has with Mystique or something? Like, because all they have here is a fire, and that's about it. There's a lot questions to be asked.
As far
here.
as what do you mean?
Well, I mean, they're like, because remember in the last movie we had Magneto had like a straight up lair and shit and everything. Like, wouldn't they have gone back to that, or maybe it was ransacked or something? But what are they? How are they living right now? Because we as human beings, we need shelter, we need food, we need supplies, but they're literally out in the middle of the fucking woods with nothing but a fireplace and some logs. Like, what's going on here?
So, can I throw out my favorite hot take that pisses everyone off?
Oh, what?
My gosh, now that we have Carol Danvers in the Marvel Universe, and I'm like, where's Rogue? Bring in Rogue right now.
Hey, you know what? Since, we have all this Phase 4/4.5 shit going on with the Marvel lineup, maybe we'll wind up getting, the X-Men universe merging, and Captain Marvel can hang out with Rogue.
But I'm just like, I'm like, it's like, no, I'm like, depower her. Like, take her out and get them powers, Rogue. I want it.
All right, well, who knows? It's a crazy time to be a nerd these days, with especially a Marvel nerd, because it's nuts how much we're getting. It really is. We're getting a fucking...
I have just like the worst hot take. Like, hey, you know that character that was awesome like 20 years back? Yeah, the actress is the perfect age for it now. So have her come back, depower that bitch, and let's go.
Are you listening, Disney? Are you listening? Because yeah, it's just nuts.
No, they shut off. They've unsubscribed.
Oh, I feel like I lose a couple of subscribers instead of gain every time I do one of these goddamn episodes. Because we just have like the weirdest hot takes, don't we?
Everyone's allowed to have their personal takes. I've always been like, look, when it comes to Marvel, I've always been a much bigger X-Men fan. So it's like, I want that Rogue. And now you've actually set up the character she steals her powers from. Give it to me.
All right. Well, hey, Matt, if they're
I'd
crazy
be okay
enough-
with them destroying
yeah,
Carol Danvers in her current iteration in the MCU anyway.
Because
She's like the least likable Marvel lead character. It's so weird because all of the characters in the whole franchise are like the most likable people. So then when I watch Captain Marvel, I'm like, God, would Rogue seriously strip you of everything of your essence? That would be amazing right now. You deserve it so bad.
But and it's I think one of the things that drives me nuts is like there are so many amazing, strong women characters in Marvel films that I'm like, why can't that one have their own movie?
That's
Like
good.
Any of the women in Black Panther, I will take a movie of them right now.
Yeah. Give me the Okoye film.
Oh, hell
Right?
yes. Give me a mini-series for Okoye. But you know what? Maybe one day we will get those eventually down the line, because if they're fucking ballsy and crazy enough to give us a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, we're probably going to get something like that down the line. It may not be like its own thing, but it might be buried in another movie. Like, you know, we had for like Iron Man 2, it was basically, you know, the subplot was basically a demon in a bottle storyline. So it's there, but it's not like the focus. Right, yeah. So maybe we'll get that in one of the future properties down the line. Who knows? Because it's crazy.
By the way, am I the only person who feels like this didn't really fit Wolverine's character?
Actually, the part where, because, like, you know, obviously this is supposed to be Mystique and whatnot. But when she changes...
No, it is, and it's revealed. But what I mean is, it's like, is he really the kind of guy to turn her down?
Right. Yeah, I don't think so. And I honestly think that he always should have been like, But they were so
right? Like...
they were so obsessed with Wolverine being a sex symbol that they literally ruined the arc of the Phoenix story because they were like, yeah, Scott's a sucker and Wolverine and Jean totally need to hook up, so they get the romance. So by the time you actually need to plan the Scott and Jean relationship, there is none.
Still,
right.
when she turns into William Stryker, that should have been the point where he's like, yes, this is where I need to make out.
Yeah. He's like, I'm licking that ass.
Like, it's funny because I'm going to use another X-Men meme to describe that scene where he's like, I want that's not what I want, with the Magneto, like, perfection meme. No, I prefer what I really want, and changes into Stryker, perfection. And they just start making out. Brian Cox and Hugh Jackman start making out. Like, that's what was missing from this movie. Brian Cox as Mystique making out with Hugh Jackman. That would have been, holy shit. All the nerd.
That's
jaws
the outtake we deserve.
All the nerd jaws would have just dropped.
That's in the deleted scenes. That's in X2.5.
Oh my God. Yeah, when they had the director's cuts with points for some reason, with decimals, that made no fucking sense. Just release it as, extended cut or director's cut or whatever. Like, just I don't know what it was with the point.
I love that. I love this scene.
Oh, the interaction between them where we can
Yeah.
have. This is actually really cool. Where it's like Pyro gets to stray away to a bad mentor per se. And that's where he goes for pretty much the rest of the arc. He joins up with the Brotherhood, man. And it's a really cool little arc. I'm not gonna lie. It's a dick thing, but it also shows exactly what happens when the wrong kid can get under the wrong influence. Oh, this I thought was actually kind of diabolical.
Right, but what a perfect little him laughing at children being hurt, just like such great characterization without really having to even say a line.
Well, also the line where he's like,
Good
"Look,
point.
I'm a scientist, and if I've got a machine, I want to make sure it's working." He's literally got them as test subjects, which I'm like, damn, that is diabolical. Oh, and hey, check it out. It's early Iron Man holotech. It's crazy how, I really want to know the earliest use of that trope, because it's now it's fucking everywhere. I was watching King Kong versus Godzilla not too long ago, and for some reason humans have this holotech that they can do, their exposition bullshit. And I get that it's visually interesting and everything, and it easily explains what the characters need to do for the next sequence and whatnot. But, dude, where the hell are you getting this tech? Like, Stark Industries is not available in every single goddamn cinematic universe. But I do want to know where the trope began. Is this one of the earliest tropes of the the hologram exposition shit? Because I can't think of an earlier iteration.
They were doing some of it in Matrix, which was prior to this. So, I mean, it's been being used in movies for quite some time.
I really want to know what's the earliest iteration of that trope, because I always find it's just a weird, interesting little arc. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Knock, knock.
Striker!
Striker, open the door.
It's funny. There's a lot of like little random character actors in this that I can't figure out if I like recognize them solely from this movie or if it's from other stuff that I'd seen them in.
Well, I imagine, after making the first X-Men movie, Bryan Singer had a lot of favors to give.
And here comes one of the most fun little action sequences in this whole movie.
Oh, yeah, this is actually really fucking cool. This is Mystique's moment to shine. This really was kind of like the best Mystique gets to show off for quite a while, actually. I think it wasn't until Jennifer Lawrence really got to go nuts with her. This was kind of like peak Mystique. Ooh, I like how that flows. Peak Mystique. Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, get him.
This slide move too.
Oh, dude, yeah, yeah. Oh, the final fuck you. Oh, it's so cool. Can you imagine being Brian Cox and getting to do that bit just for that little stand-in bit part? Oh, that's fun. You're going to need a lot more. You're going to need a lot of firepower for that shit.
See, he passed it up. He could have known.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that joke would have actually landed harder if Wolverine had fucked her.
Because then Wolverine could have given the line, he's like, she's good. And he could have been the one to say, you have no idea. Oh, man, that would have been actually really fucking funny. Missed opportunity, you guys. Oh, shit. Here comes the spillway. Brace yourselves, gentlemen. You're about to get very, very wet.
So one thing that the later Marvel movies did that these movies didn't so much do is use, popular music effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have always wanted a Storm moment with, like, Thunderstruck.
Oh, that'd be really fucking cool. Although it's weird, we actually did get Thunderstruck in Deadpool 2, though. Damn, that kind of sucks that we could have had that, Storm just kind of pop in there, like, all willy-nilly. Although, we did get a really good Brad Pitt cameo in that sequence. That was actually really funny. And this is also this is cool. Like, I know that's just 100% just,
Dude,
really
this little
cheap
girl
green
does a great job with her performance.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, like when she has to become all fearful. I mean, just outstanding work.
Knock knock.
I was always a little bummed that we didn't get to see any of the fight starting here. You know what I mean?
Oh, like
Yeah.
leads up
Like they
to-
just enter the building, no problem.
Yeah, they it's like you see the terror on their faces and then it just cuts past it all.
I think it was just cut to maintain like the suspense with Mystique of, oh, did they get past them, or
Right.
oh, did so I kind of get it, but yeah, at the
I
same
bet they
time,
never. I bet they never even shot it. You know.
yeah, save money and time, man. But oh, it would have been kind of cool to see all the X-Men working together in a team in like a wide shot too. Like, can you imagine that? Like all of them like flexing their powers in a long wide shot. In slow-mo, just
Oh, yeah.
straight up Zack Snyder.
Well, but so there was one of the reasons there was a lot of stuff planned for this movie that didn't end up happening. The studio ended up cutting the budget by $15 million from 125 down to 110.
Yeah, and that's why we didn't get the danger
So-
in this movie too.
Yeah, so I think there are a particular group of sequences where it's like even stuff that was filmed, you know, that might have looked good. It's like they had to take into account flow and continuity and time.
You know,
So
I'm actually curious, like, because I know that they wanted the danger room in the first one. They didn't have the money for this one, and they just said the hell with it in the third one and beyond. Does the danger room ever come up in any of the X-Men movies? Because I haven't seen
Yes.
all of them, but
Yeah, it's in X3.
oh, is it an X3? Oh my God, you're totally right. Yes,
Yeah.
there was a little bit of the danger room in there. So it took 3 goddamn movies to get to the danger room. Oh, this shit's kind of cool.
It's always funny to me because I imagine the danger room being like the holodeck. So to me, it's like this technology. I don't know why it would have cost so much because I just always assumed I'm like, all right, you're shooting on location, and then the reveal happens, and you just either shoot them on a green screen on location as well as in the whatever your fucking set is.
Yeah.
And I always thought it would be a way easier thing, and I think they were gonna make it all like very look techie or some shit. Which I don't know. I always kind of felt like the whole point of the danger room was like, yeah, literally anything can happen here. It should almost be like a Mysterio hallucination.
Yeah, it should have been, but I guess they were still kind of building up to it. Because remember, that was like 2007. That was the same year that Spider-Man 3 came out, man. We still had a ways to go for comic book movies. And The Dark Knight wouldn't be until the next year.
yeah,
You know? So we were still kind of fighting that stigma that, oh, this shit's for fucking, fat comic book geeks and kids, you know?
well, yeah, and that's just it. Like until they started really having massive successes, they played a lot of stuff safe.
Yeah, for real, man. So I guess that's okay, but still not gonna lie though, the design of the headset that when Patrick Stewart puts it on, man, that shit just does it for me. Am I right? All right, now kill them all. Kill all the mutants. Oh shit! Mind control! So I'm pretty sure this is the exact reason that I'm pretty sure this is the whole reason why Jean kills off Scott Summers in the next one. He's like, "This is because you attacked me." Also, it's been a while since these two got to do anything, so let's have them save the children.
Right?
Oh, that's so cool though. How he comes out of the shadows. They've divided and now we conquer. Dude, look at these sets. This is ridiculous. That shit's real, man. Like they get built a set.
Yeah, and this whole base was set up in an old Sears warehouse. Apparently, it was the largest like shooting location at the time in America, and they still only ended up using about half the warehouse.
God damn, because these are some massive fucking sets, dude.
I love how right they got Cyclops' power, by the way.
Oh, I know,
They never
right?
have it be, like, explosive. It's always just pushing shit.
Oh, shit.
Long-range melee. That's Scott Summers.
For real. I thought that was really cool. Just the slight leak.
It's crazy that they used the actual water from a leaking set and rewrote the script around it.
Oh, did they?
No, I'm just being silly.
Okay, because we have a lot of fun facts on this show. So, reflecting his light back into his eyes snapped him out of it, or... all right, whatever, I'll go with it.
Well, because what they forgot to tell you is that Scott Summers is so strong-willed off camera, he can be mind control through love.
I think he just got hit hard enough in the head.
Too bad.
That makes sense.
Too bad. Too bad he has a reputation of constantly being killed off camera. Because doesn't that happen like twice in these movies where Cyclops is like just murdered off camera, or implied to be dead off camera or something?
It just happens in X3.
Well, I know they kind of also imply it, like, along with all the other X-Men and Logan, and I think oh man, I think maybe in like what was it, Apocalypse or something? One of the really bad ones. I heard something about it. I didn't actually see it, so I don't know. Oh shit, here we go. The origins. The shit that we see 900 times in these fucking movies.
Yes. However, this is about to be where I get to tell the other really funny behind the scenes story.
Oh, what's that?
So coming up, I'll wait till the scene, but you'll lose your shit. I guarantee it.
I dig the claw marks, man. The fucking claw marks on the wall. That's actually really fucking.
Oh yeah.
This looks familiar. Oh, hey, check it out. Did you see the angel wings on there? One of the X-ray images, you'll see angel wings, and like that's a little Easter egg for Angel coming out, which is which they totally throw out.
Well, if they're doing it with adamantium, that's Archangel, but
well, they totally kind of throw that out the window for continuity-wise in the third one, but whatever. It's still kind of a cool thing because again, these movies are made for kids and the fat comic book nerd. And yeah, the little comic book nerd who's a fat kid who saw this, he was very happy. I'll tell you what. Gee, I wonder who could have done this. Oh yeah, here we go. He's having his flashback. The nude shot.
So yeah, here's the fun part. When he came around the corner for one of those scenes where he's being filmed naked, there's Bryan Singer's mom and most of the female crew with dollar bills to throw at him.
That's awesome. That's great stuff.
That is the behind the scenes stuff you gotta love.
I can just imagine.
Oh, more bubbling shampoo. I love how much shampoo is used in this movie.
That's some adamantium soup right there. But no, yeah, I can just imagine when fucking Hugh Jackman just rounds the corner with all those ladies, and he just kind of looks at like around, and he's like, "All right, who's the wise guy? Who's?" Motherfucker.
This scene would never happen in a movie these days anywhere ever. Can you imagine the male protagonist beating up a woman and winning?
Yeah. Although this shit right here with the nails,
And I'm not
this is
meaning that to be
cool.
like a negative commentary. I'm not upset about it or anything like that or offended. I just think it's funny to note.
Well, but that's just it. I mean, he does. She is an established antagonist of his,
Right.
from the comics. So,
Which sucks that what they really should have done is like make her a character.
right?
For
Yeah.
real.
I mean, it's not hard to make the leap. You know, oh, she's that actual character, and she volunteered for this because she wanted revenge on him.
Right. Yeah, and it wouldn't like, you know what I mean? And maybe they just don't kill her at the end type of a thing.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be just enough that you could retell it, but instead they make her like another Sabretooth in the last one because he, you know,
Yeah.
Right.
he didn't speak.
Or he
But
barely did.
they needed to give a powered minion to Stryker, so here you go.
Right.
Although this sequence where the CG where she heals and just kind of eyeballs, like this is actually legit cool. Especially the way she pulls. Oh god, that's Wolverine pulling out. So wrong. Not gonna lie though, this fight is fucking cool. Even though it's a little bit corny by today's standard. Oh, I love that where she just like rapid claws at his back. That's fucking cool.
Yup.
Now, I kind of, and I get that this movie needed to cut back in some of the ratings because the MPAA are a bunch of pussies, but I would have loved it for if there was like a lot more blood falling out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not dead. I'm a bad boy. Can you tell by my slick back hair and my hoodie and my lighter, bruh?
I'm
Bruh.
the worst boy.
He really is kind of the worst boy, isn't he? Oh, that
It's
shit was
true.
cool. That was cool, where she just leaps out. Now, look. Granted, I really wish they didn't kill her off because, like I said, it would have been nice to have her to have like an actual character rather than just a meat puppet. But I will give him this: this death scene is really creative and kind of cool. Not gonna lie.
Oh, dude, and the sound design with it at the end there is
Oh
perfect.
yeah, it really is cool. Where she just like clunks at the end because she's completely filled up with metal.
Yeah, and like exactly, like she sounds like a chunk of metal hitting the bottom of the tank.
So,
It's
yeah,
awesome.
it's so awesome.
I hear thunk.
Oh,
That's so cool. That's cool. But yeah, as cool as that death was, yeah, I'm still kind of with you, man. Like, really wish they gave her a little bit more of a character, because Lady Deathstrike's kind of pimp in the comics. And I think that's the problem with a lot of the X-Men, just the format itself, is because, because there are so many characters and so many arcs to juggle, it's really hard to do X-Men as a movie, but it's way easier to do it as a television series. Doing it as a television series is kind of the ideal way to do it just with a huge plethora of characters and story arcs and all that sort of things.
well, I mean, I agree, but at the same time, it's a matter of you need to figure out what you're going to focus on. And I think the best thing they could do is, find a period of the comics that they like and then generally work to adapt that into a working format for either a series of movies or a TV series.
Yeah, it's just that TV is a little bit better suited for them just because you can spend more time with certain characters, give them more moments, little arcs, and while enveloping...
Yeah, but my personal worry is that Disney's not going to do hard RTV with a Marvel product.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably true. Maybe take that... Maybe lend it over to Amazon, because I'm really loving what they're doing with The Boys.
I don't know. I'm reserving judgment for Amazon to see what they do with the two other big franchises they got coming up.
That's fair. I do like that moment where Mystique is constantly shape-shifting. That's a really cool effect.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And it's the same door. Man, the sound design is a lot better than I remember, actually. Because like the psychic.
Because at this point they were just making big budget movies.
Yeah, for real, man. But the psychic kind of.
They could get a little more inventive.
Yeah, like the whole psychic kind of noise in their head that's supposed to kill them. Like again, that's just really fun sound design where you can have some creativity because they didn't know what the hell they're doing. In the 90s, in like most of the 80s and 90s, comic book movies are just seen as really stupid, low budget bullshit.
And again, right? Look at the girl right here. I mean, such great acting.
I wonder if she actually grew up to be like a regular actress. I'm gonna look this shit up. No, it doesn't say. I don't think so. This is
that
great.
Like
that one-time deal.
That great little Magneto moment. Him tapping his helmet there, just like smugly.
Yeah,
like,
that's
nope.
actually really cool. That is really cool.
I just want Magneto to ask everybody if they have too much iron in their blood repeatedly.
Oh, right here. This is actually kind of cool. Like you mentioned that his flying sequence when he broke out of prison wasn't very good. This isn't half bad, actually.
No, it's way better here. It's
Yeah.
literally, it kind of cracks me up how much better this is.
Although I still am not entirely sure how this works. Like, by rearranging the panels, it's going to target mutants instead of humans. Like, isn't it just that sort of selection controlled by Xavier's brain? Like, how does that... I don't know. But, movie bullshit. Moving on.
It's, what did we call it earlier? It's movie bullshit.
Yeah, basically.
And it looks
cool.
cool.
I think the normal Cerebro allows him to see, like, the theory they're going with is normal Cerebro, he can access every mind, so they had to modify it so that he's only accessing certain minds so that the other ones don't die.
Even better.
So that's why that's why they use the panels as an explanation for, like, how do we specify that this is why it's only working on certain groups now?
I gotcha. Okay.
I can get into that.
Fine. Destroy all humans.
Hey, babe, you want to destroy all humans?
All right, now's the perfect time to make out. Right? How's it feel having my hooks penetrate you? Oh, shit. Yeah, well, it's really shitty because this kind, when we were watching, when X-Men 2 came out, this kind of shit was actually kind of interesting. And you're like, oh man, I would like to see it in a Wolverine Origins movie, like the whole backstory and the whole 9 yards, where you get to see him fight from the Civil War to World War I and II in Vietnam. Like, oh, that'd be really interesting. We got that movie, and holy fuck, did it suck!
Well, so what I would actually like, I would always have been a fan to see him doing the clandestine work for Canada with Sabretooth and Maverick when they were on a team together doing Black Ops for Canada.
There you go. Yeah, man, that'd be really kind of cool. But no, it's really sad that X-Men Origins had that title sequence where it's him and Sabretooth fighting throughout all of America's wars from like 1840s all the way to the 1970s. That sequence, that title sequence, that is by far the best sequence of the entire movie, and it should have been the entire movie. I really fucking hate it. The shit where he's got the claws coming at him, that's really fucking cool. I don't know, man. I mean, it's not that far what you were doing to the kids earlier.
I love how but I love that, they show just how quickly he tied him up. So that's like, yeah, that's a really lazy tie up. It's no surprise he gets out.
Duh. I guess that kind of ties into, having a stupid Wolverine, Mark. He may not be he may be pretty, but at least he's stupid.
That's true. He's a himbo.
Oh shit. Come on. Dude, come on. It's not that bad. For real. Although I do like his reaction here. He's just like, impossible! No! But yeah, Mark, I'm sorry. I really like this version of Cerebro better because you can really feel the scale of it here on out. And in the earlier one, you could only see so many people at one shot.
You're right. I'm not in entire disagreement. I just sort of like you just think you'd have a map separate.
Maybe it should work for different kinds of versions because as we saw in the first movie, he was just looking for rogues. So when it's like, looking for an individual, it probably should work as like it's just like this Myst sort of thing where it's just only a couple of people because he's looking for one specific person. But when you do it on a mass scale like this, you kind of have to show like the entire globe and all the lights and all the people and whatnot.
You're not wrong.
Oh, this is
By the way, though, how hilarious would it have been if like they teleported inside, like into Jason, into the mind control guy, just like splat.
Like that's it.
Like they get spliced and shit.
Like, well, we saved the day, but damn.
I wonder if that's ever has that ever been like a thing with Nightcrawler in the comics where he accidentally teleports into a person and they get spliced?
I mean, not that I've
so.
seen, but I wouldn't be surprised if they use it at some point.
Yeah.
Man,
I feel like they're always warning us that could happen, and then it never does.
Man, I want to see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I read X-Men comics pretty consistently until about roughly 8 years ago, so I'm not really up on what they've been doing since.
Sure.
Man, can you just imagine getting like David Cronenberg to direct that sequence?
Can we just give David Cronenberg a superhero movie and see what happens?
You know what? I don't think it would be any good, but by God, would it be interesting to watch? It's sort of like what if David Lynch directed Return of the Jedi?
But, like, give him something that, like, fans want to see, but not too many people are, like, up on. Like, give him the Max.
Or Swamp
Thing.
Thing.
Image, give him the Max and see what happens.
Can you imagine David Cronenberg does Swamp Thing?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a thing.
You really gotta love how compliant that in these visions that Professor X is, to be like, yes, I will kill all of the humans, even though that's fundamentally against everything that he's about. You would think instead of that being Storm is making it cold for him, and not Iceman. I wonder if there was like an alternate cut where that was actually Iceman.
Yeah, I don't think there was, and I only think that because they didn't really... He had no power, and they weren't making the movies based first on storytelling integrity, but more on Halle Berry's famous. We should listen to her.
Yeah, no, that's totally what's
sucks.
the thing. Because remember, she just won.
I
an
mean,
Oscar.
they actually did. Yeah, they actually beefed up her role a little bit because she had just won an Oscar.
Yeah. So like, you can do the Iceman scene, okay?
Yeah, for real. Although it is kind of crazy that they just straight up leave him there to die. Like just Jason sitting there like,
Good.
oh fuck no.
I mean, he's been lobotomized at that point, so what kind of life could he have had?
Right.
Yeah, still. Quick, in the Jeep. Oh, I forget how this. Oh, are they supposed to like try to close the door so the water doesn't spill in? Come on. You gotta love how just scratching it with the claws automatically closes the door and doesn't permanently lock it and keep it open.
That's the best part of movies.
Oh yeah, for real, man. Sometimes bullshit in movies is weirdly like glue. It just kind of if there's just enough of it, it can hold it all together and make it work. If there's too much of it, then it's just going to be a giant steaming pile, and it's just going to break apart like this dam is about to. Oh, yeah, you gotta love it when X-Men movies went on location and weren't completely limited to green screens. Yeah, because this was like actually right after episode 2, when George Lucas started doing literally everything in a vacuum and all digitally. Because I always think of like Revenge of the Sith and episode 2 as important grand experiment in failures of visual effects where you should really never shoot that much on a green screen.
Well, I mean, I don't think the visual problems of episode 2 get looked at very often because of the writing problems of episode 2.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
Oh, Rogue.
I counted. There's not a sentence in that movie over 13 words.
Oh,
That's
man.
hysterical.
That's actually really fucking funny. We'll get you on board first. Although, you really gotta love how Rogue was piloting the X-Jet. It's like that moment in Justice League Unlimited where Flash is like, Flash, take the control of the jet. He's like, take control, Flash. Does anyone ask me how it works? Of course not. And just proceeds to press buttons. It's all good. It's all good. And once again, weird mutant tongue kid gets more screen time than Gambit ever really did.
That's all you really needed was Tongue Kid. He could have saved the whole movie.
Take your stupid dog tags. I don't want to be Canadian anymore. Which is fun. So funny because Hugh Jackman's Australian. That's his arc, kids. That's it. That's the arc of that one fucking kid. Oh my god. He goes from sticking his tongue out to a girl who's looking at him weird eating ice cream to giving basically the tongue equivalent of the bird to the villain of the movie. Well played, screenwriters. Oh, speaking of screenwriters, did you know that this is the only X-Men movie that Michael Dougherty worked on? Yeah, because I don't know if you guys know, but I'm actually kind of a weird fan of Michael Dougherty. He's the dude who made Trick or Treat, Krampus. He also did Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So yeah, and he didn't. He worked on the script for X2 as well. Like he was one of the last rewrites to do it, and in a weird way, I can kind of see he's the reason why this movie was as good as it was.
Fair.
Oh shit. We get into early glimpse into the Phoenix. Man, I really wonder if that was...
Show me your wet Phoenix.
I really wonder if that dam breaking was actually a model. Because
I bet it is.
It probably was.
I think it was actually.
I just miss really good model work in movies nowadays because it's almost never done anymore, especially in big, Hollywood tentpole movies like this.
Hmm.
If they need external power, like, dude, you have Storm here. Just have her lightning strike the thing to jumpstart the thing. So now the engines work because she's remotely controlling it? This part I always was a little confused on how this all worked.
This ending is definitely like the height of movie bullshit.
Although I will admit the way Brian Cox goes out is kind of cool. So she wasn't able to stop one missile earlier in the movie, but now she's able to stop a goddamn tidal wave and lift the ship out of the way.
No, she was able to stop one missile, not two missiles. That was...
Oh my god, I'm sorry. This is just
one missile is theoretically possible. Two missiles is crazy.
Also, she's even blocking Nightcrawler's ability to teleport. Like, dude, what? Where was your superpower 5 minutes ago?
And she's taking over Xavier's mind.
All at once,
Xavier's mind.
Xavier's mind taking over Nightcrawler's ability to teleport, holding back a tidal wave, driving the X-Jet, all at once. Like, okay, wait a second. Hold on. Like, I get that, this is basically her, starting the Phoenix shit here, like, as you can see, with, like, the weird flame effects. I get that, but where was any of this earlier, though? Where was there any hint that this could happen? Because I get it. They want, they want to kill her off for emotional effect and, to resurrect her to do the Phoenix Saga. Like, I get where they're going with it, but I'm sorry. It's just a little, and no. Also, you gotta really love James Marsden's acting. Give the kid a moment to really act. When the day you get to have your like a hardcore, like intense crying scene, Mark, I cannot wait to just be on set and just watch gleefully in the corner.
Tim.
What?
You should be the guy spraying him with the shit that makes him cry.
I'll bring
That's what we need.
I'll bring some a little bit of
salt water
or onion juice.
Onion juice, one of my favorite products.
Oh yeah, good on the skin, horrible in the eyes. And now the lake is a bigger lake now, I guess. Yeah, that whole thing where the entire human race was attacked psychically by an unknown force. Like, yeah, you would think they would have addressed this a little bit sooner. But
There's no time for that, man.
I guess that's true. We gotta wait until the morning to address this because ratings, right?
Well, I think it's more a matter of you need to consult with everyone and figure out what happened as best you could.
Mm-hmm. Although, how did they figure out? Like, how would they have been able to trace the origin to mutants? I guess it's probably because mutants could only be the perpetrator, which, as a big a profiling issue that is, they're right. Let's be honest. Like, an attack like that, of course it was mutants. I do like.
So I would be really curious that there's another scene like this to see if any of these extras were reused in the museum.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'd be really curious.
You know, I'm sorry. I hate, like, every time they cut to that one dude applying the lip balm, it just takes the intimidation factor out of this scene tenfold. Also, speaking of intimidating, if you're here to present a message of peace, are you going to do it in the dark in a bleak thunderstorm? Along with the dude that tried to kill him? What kind of... I honestly think that Professor Xavier here just really sucks at diplomacy, which is why there's constantly a big conflicts going on in these movies. Professor Xavier, he's got great intentions. Horrible presentation. Easter egg with Kitty Pryde. Kind of wish we had more. Is it weird that I kind of want more X-Men in this movie? Just like more individual characters, that is.
Yeah, just a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get a lot more in the next one.
Yeah, I think it'll be... I'll be curious to see how they handle that in the future. I'm excited, though.
Mm-hmm. You still gonna, like, push that hashtag of ugly Wolverine?
Wolverine, ugly Wolverine, get it trending.
Although, weirdly enough, especially if they do it in literally the next 5 years, which I sincerely doubt, I will be more than happy to have Professor Xavier return, or Patrick Stewart return as Professor X.
You know, he might be too tall for it, but you know who I think could probably do a really good Wolverine?
Who?
I'm curious to hear.
Josh Gad.
Huh. Well, if Josh Gad's up for it, I've already got the facial hair, so if you're taking fat dudes, I'm on.
Well, hey, look, all I'm saying is if they can get freaking what's-his-face into shape,
oh, like Chris Pratt?
they got Chris Pratt into shape. If they got Chris Pratt into shape, I mean, you can get anyone into shape. Give him 6 months.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's why I hired a trainer recently.
Get a trainer and a nutritionist.
Look at the Machinist and then look at Batman. All right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
very true.
It can be done.
Who would you have though in like future? Because it's probably going to be not for like another 6 or 7 years before we get an X-Men in like the MCU or whatnot. But when the time comes, who would you actually put as Charles Xavier? Because that's a really hard cast. Because Patrick Stewart is beyond fucking perfect as Charles, and I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head who I would recast as Professor Xavier.
I mean, depending on how... a lot of it comes down to how main of a character do they want Xavier to be in these? Is Xavier just going to be the guy they talk about in the background? Because if that's the case, they should just make Xavier never played by an actor. He should just be like the silhouette of like Jack Kirby or some shit like that. And then that way you don't ever have to worry about casting him again. Depending on the time, I don't hate James McAvoy right now.
That wouldn't be bad.
You know?
I don't mind him in the role if they're gonna go with a younger version. However, if you want to go older, here's my hot take: Stanley Tucci.
Oh, that would fucking rule, dude.
Ooh, actually, that's a pretty good one. Not gonna lie, Stanley Tucci.
I like along those lines, and he looks sort of similar. How about Mark Strong?
Oh, that's not a bad choice either. Man, oh, dude, the casting possibilities for just future Marvel endeavors, because it's gonna be to the point where literally you could throw a rock at any actor in Hollywood, and they'll be involved somehow with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in some way.
Right.
I mean, I just found. Did you guys see the Loki trailer that dropped not long ago? And now Owen Wilson is in these damn things.
Right.
Yeah, for real. It's like there's literally got every single actor in Hollywood at one point or another is going to be in a goddamn Marvel movie. I swear. If they can get Werner Herzog in Star Wars, who can't Marvel get? For real. Now we have Jean Grey repeating the lines of the first film.
Mutation.
These
are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
where no mutant has gone before. Not gonna lie though, that the way it cuts off like that with the waves underneath or above or whatever it was, it's kind of a cool thing, especially in 2003 when you're a nerd sitting there in the theater and that shit happens. And there's also the
I think that's one of the reasons that I ended up so disappointed later. Is like the first two of these movies were so good, and then to be delivered that third one, you're just like, oh.
Yeah, aww. But hey, man, this movie's still fucking cool. Even the musical score that they had from the first one come over in the X-Men March here, still not bad. But otherwise, how did
the score in this one was a lot better than the first one for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. This one's just a lot, just like a huge step up and improvement. Plus, they were like, "Hey, that first one did fairly well. We don't have to make our comic book movie 90 minutes long. Let's actually do a 2-hour endeavor on this."
Yeah.
Which was really
nice.
Well,
what you're supposed to do with a sequel is, you think about the first one, and you build on it, and it's like you give people more of it, while also kind of broadening it. That's a good way to be for a sequel. And I think too often you end up in situations where they're like, they either try to do the exact same thing, or they try to go too off the rails, and it's like, no, you have a framework. Mm-hmm. You build on that framework. You don't got to reinvent the framework, and you also don't build so much that you crush the framework.
Yes, you got to remain grounded, not just to what you as a creator are limited to, but what you have previously presented.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
and,
yes. Yes.
I was going to say, things that they definitely shied away from at this point, though, because of, we're making comic book movies and we have to see if this is going to work, that obviously they can get away with now. Like, I love the fact that you get the colorful costumes and stuff now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, Lord, I would have loved to have seen, the blue and gold costumes, but right. I understand why that was not going to be viable for trying to do something like this at the time.
Mm-hmm. They were still making those
all
baby
that
steps,
fitting in,
even though those things did not fit well with the actors. But yeah, man, how does this movie hold up like all these years later, especially for you two X fans who literally saw this in the theater and felt the hype as it came out?
I loved it still. I mean, I think it still works. I actually think this movie holds up better for me than Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Honestly, I think I would have to agree. Don't be wrong. I still love Spider-Man 2, but I would almost argue that for straight sequels, this Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, I think the only other like second movie in my opinion that Marvel's done that really holds up as time keeps going on is Winter Soldier. Not to say the other ones are bad, but I'm like, if you want to talk about high watermarks,
I agree.
second Captain America, second X-Men, second original Spider-Man. Like those are really high watermarks for Marvel sequels.
Oh, totally, dude.
Agree with that, dude.
And you know what's so
totally agree with that.
It's so fucking funny because, you know, on our first couple episodes, like, hey, Mark, what's your favorite Marvel movie in the MCU? And you said straight up, Captain America, Winter Soldier. And then we're like, okay, well, we're going to go one outside the MCU. What's one of my favorite non-MCU movies? Spider-Man 2. How fucking funny is that?
Yeah.
Great minds think alike, motherfucker.
I have had to fight with people because don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously, I love Marvel movies like, you know, True Believer. I've told Tim this before, but like my friends got to pick my Xbox name. They made my Xbox name A Fanboy.
That's hilarious.
I'm that guy. So while I love the MCU, I've argued with people and stood my ground and been able to make my point where it's like, look, I'm sorry, but Winter Soldier takes phase 2. It just does.
Yeah.
Like, you may enjoy Guardians, but like what Winter Soldier does and how it takes everything to a different level and expands on things and actually deepens the lore and moves things in different directions while doing it effectively, comprehensively, and with an awesome story, you can't touch that.
Yeah, no, for real. Honestly, Winter Soldier is probably aged by far the best, especially not just in what the pantheon of movies that they've released, but just in Phase 2 in general, because, you know, Guardians was so cool. Yeah, Guardians has a closer place in my heart, really. But Winter Soldier is just obviously a little bit better, you know, in that regard. But as far as the X-Men movies go, where does this one kind of rank with you? Because this one's definitely probably number 3 out of all of them that I've seen.
What?
Yeah, that's crazy. This is number 1 for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
This is number 1. What do you put above this?
If I was going to give you guys my
I'm
top
sorry.
3, it'd be X2, First Class, and X1.
You know, I would agree with you. That's definitely my top 3. I don't know. I might transpose the
2 and 3, I figured.
Yeah. But beyond that, like, I have the exact same top 3.
The only reason, you know what? I probably actually, upon like thinking back of all my X-Men movies, as I like, you know, mentally go back through all the files, I'm probably gonna say, you know, this one is number 2 for me, and Logan is number 1. But that's just because I'm a much bigger cinephile than I am an X-Men fan. So, to me, that's just how my mind works. Like, because Logan is a lot more.
I mean, I will say this.
Yeah.
I have been burned so much by what they have done with the X-Men in cinema that a lot of times, like, there's definitely some I haven't even bothered going to the theater for. So that should tell you something. Like, someone who grew up loving the comics, like, I literally spent my pre-driving early teen years saving up money from doing chores and allowances to go buy X-Men first appearances.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a huge X-Men fan, and for them to handle it so poorly that someone like me is like, I don't even care to see it in the theater anymore.
Yeah,
that's bad.
Yeah, I certainly felt that way when the reviews came out for Origins. Like, yikes! I mean, I saw some of them and I'm like, oh, maybe I should skip this one because I think that came out just a couple of years after I saw Spider-Man 3 in the theater. Because I was so pumped, like, oh, Spider-Man 2 was amazing. Spider-Man 3 is coming out. Oh, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. I walked out of the theater. I literally turned to my mom because I was in, like, middle school at that time. And I literally turned to my mom after walking out of that movie. I'm like, yo, Ma, that sucked. Like, straight up, just went, that sucked. That was the first time I was properly disappointed at the movie theater. So, yeah, it's a little bit different. But then again, like I said, I'm just not as big of an X-Men fan as you two are. So, yeah. But I can totally see why this would be like the peak of X-Men movies for you guys.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think it's a lot of it is subjective to time. I obviously I really love comics, but had I first been getting into comics, a decade later than when I was, I love the Ultimate Comic line and all that stuff, but that probably would have been my go-to and my real like connection thing. Whereas because of the time when I was getting into comics, it really was like that amazing time where you had, X-Men and Uncanny X-Men and X-Force happening, all those wonderful books at just the right time with these very colorful, creative characters and stories written that were just very complex and deep characterization. So it's like, that's why I ended up with such a love for this particular comic franchise. And thankfully, because of the success of things like the cartoon show and comics and stuff, we got movies like this to kind of help kick things off, and I'm so glad.
Yeah. Good shit, man. Well said. Mark, is there anything you want to add after seeing this and thinking about this in retrospect for everyone?
I'll just say this as some of my closing thoughts on the show. The reason this holds up better for me over Spider-Man 2 is that it overall captures the spirit better in a lot of regards. Spider-Man 2, I think, gets so much love because Alfred Molina is, like, incredible in it.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, that's, like, the high point of the whole movie. I think most of the romance subplot sucks. I think there's a lot of bad in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies that we're just kind of, we gloss over because of nostalgia. To me, this one just sort of holds up better. It's like the tone is right. It feels way more like a modern movie, if that makes sense. Like, I would really wager that when they go back to the proverbial block at the Marvel Studios, at least in like 2008 when they were really gearing up, they were looking at movies like X-Men, X-Men 2. They were looking at Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 and how the audiences reacted to it. But I just think this holds up so well. Like, I guess my point about X2 is that it's like, maybe doesn't have quite as many highs as Spider-Man 2 does, right? Like, Brian Cox is close, but if I gave Alfred Molina a 10, I'd give Brian Cox a 9, right?
Yeah.
So,
but it's like, because... Go ahead.
No, like, I agree with you. And I think one of the reasons you have some of those problems, though, is that you're not going to really have with X-Men movies is because, unlike some of the other movies, they're not dealing with alter egos. So the same problem I have with a lot of the Spider-Man stuff is a problem I have with Batman stuff. Is you might have an actor who's great for Bruce Wayne but not good for Batman.
Exactly.
You might have an actor who's great as Spider-Man but not a great Peter Parker.
Well said.
Yeah, for real, dude. Thank God we got that problem solved, though, with Spider-Man with Tom Holland, because he is compelling both in and out of the suit. Whereas...
I will say he's the first person I think to nail both. I mean, I actually really liked Garfield as Peter Parker, just not so much as Spider-Man.
Oh, no,
I had kind of the opposite in a weird way.
I had the opposite, too. Like, Tobey Maguire, great Peter Parker, really kind of meh as Spider-Man. And, Garfield was like, he is a douchey fucking Peter Parker, but holy fuck is he an awesome Spider-Man.
Maybe, to be fair, I could be mixing it up because it's been a long time since I've revisited any of the Spider-Mans, but I definitely know I felt like neither one of them were good for both until Tom Holland. Like,
totally.
He's finally the one who it's like, oh, good, we have one who can do it all.
Totally, man. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Oh, man. That was a fun time, wasn't it? Man, Mark, I'm going to miss you, because that's the other thing. After we did fucking Howard the Duck and Fant Four Stick, I'm like, hey, Mark, I'm sorry. What movie do you want to do now? What do you want to go out on? And when you mentioned this, I'm like, oh, of course, that makes total sense. Like, this is peak X-Men, so of course he's going to go with this. But, I
had to do at least one more, so I'm glad we could close it out on one of my favorites.
Fuck yeah, dude. It's been awesome.
Thanks for having me, boys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Hey, it's always a blast, man.
And we'll
awesome.
Also...
Yeah, no, I had fun, and I wish you both the best in the future. Sean, I bow in recognition of your Marvel skills, and I appreciate to hear what you guys come up next with.
Oh yeah,
I look
absolutely.
forward to taking the torch, but remember, you're always welcome.
Yeah, thanks,
Absolutely.
guys. And look, if you ever have any short form content or anything like that, I think that would be something I can more
Oh, fuck
easily
yeah,
fit into my
dude.
schedule. But
Fuck
we'll
yeah.
obviously talk off air and details. But thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Dude, it's been fucking real.
Hey, I mean, this was your baby, and I mean, I'm never a guy to
You're
not show
adopting the
respect to
child.
Exactly.
There
I'm
you
never
go.
the guy to not show respect and let the people come back in. So,
Yeah. So we'll be back again.
But I love you guys. I wish you the best. I wish all of the audience the best.
For real, dude. Well, we're probably not going to be back until we take because we're going to be taking a bit of a hiatus later this season. But we will be back again with this show with Sean. But that said, I have been Tim.
I've been Sean.
And I've been Mark. And I've
you-
been missed by the audience.
For real. You'll never have to watch a movie alone again. Peace.